Hey guys, LMNTRIX here. Hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be checking out the top 5 assault rifles in Black Squad. Now keep in mind these are my top 5 favorites. So this does not mean that they apply to everyone. I understand that there could be a lot of different options, a lot of different combinations. And the reality is that there is no really right or wrong. Before you continue with this video, pause it right here, go into the comments and try and guess what my top 5 favorite guns is, and then come back at the end of the video and see if you were right. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts on which you think are the top 5 best assault rifles in Black Squad. So make sure you leave that down below as well. Anyways guys, hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. In the 5th spot, we have the SIZ556XI Rus. Wow, that was a mouthful. It is very similar to the AK-12, the AK-47, and the SR-47. It is very powerful, very difficult to control, but it has much better stability than the other 3 guns I just mentioned, and it is capable of one-shot headshots. So basically, it is a little bit more versatile, it's a little bit easier to use and master if you compare it to the other guns. Now, one of the only real big downsides of this gun is the sight. It has a holographic sight that takes up quite a lot of your view, simply because it is quite clunky. And it's that little red dot in the middle with that circle around it that a lot of people aren't gonna like, I myself included. If it had for example, the SR-47 sight, I would have been using this gun a lot more. However, overall, it is a very well balanced gun, and if you do manage to master it, it can be quite deadly in the battlefield. And here, just to show you the recoil pattern real quick. The first 2 bullets go pretty accurate, and then the rest just kind of go up, so I wouldn't really recommend spraying. As you can see here, trying to transition over, it can be quite difficult. I did get a lucky headshot on that second guy because it did jump, the recoil really kicked it up, but other than that, you should be able to one-tap pretty easily with this gun. That's what I really like about it. 1 bullet to the head, I think 3 to the chest. Yep, 3 to the chest, and probably 4 to the leg, 5 to the leg. Yep, so it's 1 to the head, 3 to the chest, and 5 to the leg. Now coming in at number 4, we have the AK-12, and this gun could have easily taken one of the top 3 spots. However, the reason why I didn't is because I personally do not use this gun enough. I really should start using it a lot more. I think that it is one of the best guns in the game. That's why it's also in this list. But let's get into more of the details. So something really good about this gun is that it is very high power. It does a lot of damage. It's very accurate in single shots. So you should really go for these one taps with this gun. And where it's really actually has its pitfalls is that it has a very strong recoil. It is quite inaccurate when you're consistently spraying, so when you're not bursting or when you're not tapping. Final point is that it has a very low rate of fire. And that is why you will usually lose a gunfight if you do not kill the enemy within the first 2 or 3 bullets, because otherwise, with the low rate of fire, the opposing enemy is probably going to have a gun that has a high fire rate and can just, spray and get maybe a lucky headshot or something like that. So with this gun, you really have to get pinpoint accuracy and try and go for those headshots. Now, something that I personally do not like that much about this gun is, again, it's the sight. It has a Cobra sight. It's the same one that the Type 95 uses. And I really just think that, it takes up so much of your screen that it's very difficult to see if you're actually aiming on the head, if you're a little bit under or if you're a little bit on top. So actually with this sight, because it's not that accurate, you have to aim a little bit under the head in order for you to get a headshot. Now, compared to the previous weapon, the AK-12 has a much easier recoil to control. You're going to see it right here. There you go. So you can see that the first 3 bullets are quite in the middle, and it just goes up in a straight line, so that's very easy to control. And as you can see, I actually crouch. You should always crouch if you're going to spray, because if you don't, it looks like this. You can see how much different that spray pattern looks. So if you're going to spray, I would recommend crouching, and transitioning your spray is quite easy as well. It's very easy, but the AK-12 is especially known for its one taps as well. So you should definitely go for those one taps always. I think it's obviously 1 to the head, it's 3 to the chest, and it's 5 to the leg. Oh, it's 4 to the leg. So unlike the last weapon we looked at, it was 5 to the leg. The AK-12 is only 4 to the leg. Now in spot number 3, we have the SR-47. It has quite a high damage, medium recoil, and medium to high accuracy. So it's not as accurate as the AK-12. However, it does have a higher fire rate, allowing you to hit more of your bullets. So in my opinion, it's a little bit harder to control the recoil with this gun versus the AK-12. However, where it does stand out is that it's putting out more bullets, meaning that you can actually hit the target more often, or that's how it usually would go. The negative things about this gun is that it still has quite a low fire rate, and it is quite a heavyweight weapon in the sense that it takes up a lot of your screen as well. When you're aiming in, it takes up everything. So sometimes it's very difficult to see if an enemy is popping out from the right or left side. The SR-47 has a very similar recoil pattern to the AK-12. You have 4 bullets that go kind of straight up and then the rest go left and right. I do think it's a bit harder to control the recoil pattern with this gun though. Let's try that one more time. They were all low. And that's just me trying to control the pattern. As you can see with that last guy, it got really difficult because the bullets were just going left and right, quite strong actually. So I don't always recommend spraying with this one, but you know, 1 taps, 1 to the head, 3 to the chest, and 5 to the leg. So yep, I've really come to like this gun quite a lot. I think it's very consistent, and even though it takes up quite a lot of your screen because of the sight, I do think that when you zoom in, that dot is very satisfying. So that's really nice with this gun. Now coming in at number 2, we have the Type 95. It is very similar to the AK-12. It has a low rate of fire, it has low hip fire accuracy, and it has very high damage. I think that the AK-12 is overall a little bit more accurate than this gun. However, I personally prefer to use it because it suits my playstyle a lot more. So this is just my personal preference. Now, something that I personally do not like about the Type 95, it's the sight. It is the same Cobra sight as the AK-12, and you know, as I previously mentioned, it's not fully accurate, so you have to aim a little bit lower in order to get those 1 taps, and that's something that took a little bit of practice at the beginning. However, once you start to understand that, and once you start to get that muscle memory in, you can really understand where to aim in order to get those 1 taps. Now, my beloved Type 95. I think the Type 95 is one of my all-time favorite weapons in this game, mainly because it's the first one that I really used and the first one that I really started to play with, really started to practice and started to, you know, understand the recoil pattern a little bit more. And, you know, it's not an easy gun to use, but if you do play good with it, it is one of the best, if not even the best gun in the game, I think. It didn't get my number 1 spot simply because it is quite hard to use, but you know, coming in at number 2, that's pretty good as well. Let's check out the recoil pattern. Now it is quite heavy, especially if you're moving around and you're trying to control that. That is really difficult to control. So I wouldn't really recommend spraying at longer distances. If you are up close though, it can do some serious damage. And again, this gun, I would say go for those 1 taps. It's really deadly up close. And I think this is one of the best guns for defensive gameplay. So if you're trying to hold a bomb site, I think this is one of the best guns. I definitely wouldn't use it in all cases. Like for example, if you're trying to rush or anything like that, I don't think it makes the most sense. But I think to really control the recoil pattern, you would preferably be at a little bit of a closer range. And yeah, as I said, I think this is one of the best defensive guns in the game because you can really, you can really control it really well. I think it's very similar to the AK-12 in that sense, and even the recoil pattern up close, it's pretty good. I really like it. So definitely go ahead, try this gun out. It won't disappoint. It's not going to be very fun at the beginning, I must say, but really try and play with it, try and practice, and you'll see how powerful it actually is. Now coming in at number 1, we have the AK-74M, and the main reason why this gun got the number 1 spot is because it is so easy to use and it's so versatile. I mean, you can use it in so many different situations. It has a very high rate of fire, very easy to control the recoil pattern, and yes, it does not do one shot to the head unless you get a fatal shot. Now, where this gun really stands out is in its offensive capabilities. If you have 3 guys in your team running with an AK-74M pushing a bomb site, I guarantee you're gonna overrun the enemy before they can even know what is going on, simply because it has such a high rate of fire and it's so easy to control. I mean, look at this. This is the recoil pattern. I'm not even pulling down here and all the bullets are within. I mean, come on, look at that. That's really easy. So yeah, the bullets don't do as much damage as, for example, one of the other guns. However, what it does do is it has such a high fire rate that, you know, it basically outputs as much damage, if not even more. It's not one bullet to the head unless you get a fatal, as you can see there. However, since the fire rate is so high and you only get that you're gonna miss that first shot, for example, or you're not gonna get that fatal. You know, you're gonna knock the enemy down anyways because it has such a high fire rate. So there, I was just trying to spray in the area of the head, and it takes them down so fast. It looks like it's just one shot to the head. Even from like the only thing I would say with this gun where it's not as good as the others is when you come out at these distances, because ideally you want to go for that one tap or that headshot. And sometimes it's not going to do it, as you can see here. So yeah, I would really say that this is a good gun for the offensive side. Of course, you can use it on the defensive, but I think, you know, where it really stands out is when you're rushing and trying to push a bomb site, and you really just get the edge on the enemy because you have this this high fire rate weapon that does a lot of damage as well. So, you know, go ahead and give this weapon a try. I really recommend it. I think it is one of the best guns in the game, simply because it is so easy to use.